Watching KX News in high definition. A shooting tonight in Bula and a suspect is still on the run. Details straight ahead.
Plus, picketers line up outside of Mandan's Tesoro Refinery.
And why more and more people are picking Washburn as their destination.
Live in high definition, this is KX News.
Details are sketchy, but there has been a shooting in Bula. One person is dead. Another is in serious condition, and this has all been confirmed. Good evening. I'm Lauren Culber.
And I'm Tom Gerhardt. Thanks for joining us here tonight on KX News. About 8:15 Central Time tonight, a shooting was reported in an apartment building in Bula, east of the Dairy Queen, if you're familiar with that area of town. Police are looking for a male suspect who fled the scene on foot, but we are told by authorities another man is in custody. According to police, one person is dead and another is in serious condition. Reporter Megan Lowry is in Bula, on the scene in fact right now. We'll bring you the latest information if it becomes available later in the newscast. You can also check out our KX Facebook page. That's facebook.com/KX News, or check out KXNet.com.
About 40 picketers stood outside Mandan's Tesoro Refinery. Union workers and the company aren't seeing eye to eye. Tonight at midnight, work contracts will expire. Right now, industry reps and steel union reps are in negotiations. Picketers say they are fighting for stronger safety regulations and to keep their benefit packages. They say in the past, when the refining industry wasn't doing well, the company had asked them to cut benefits. But now, with the industry doing well, they're not willing to allow more cuts to their benefit packages and contracts. Tesoro employee Guy Klein says they are preparing for the worst.
There's language that we're trying to add to our contract that we feel will help us be safer at our job, help the process run smoother and be safer, so we're not at risk, the community's not at risk. It's just so it's a better place to work at. You know, not at this facility, but in different facilities in our industry, we've had numerous deaths through the years that we think were preventable.
Klein says there are no immediate plans to strike. In the past, contracts have been extended. Tesoro hasn't had a strike since 1982. Contracts are negotiated every 3 years.
You mentioned you saw people out jogging last night on your way home from work. It's another night just like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, finish off January and Bismarck hit 50 degrees
One
today.
for the
I think
memory.
if someone would have told me this fall that we were going to have a winter like this, or not a winter, I guess, but I would probably laughed at them like that rumor of 200 inches of snow. I'm like, no way that we're having this. But yes, we continue to have a very mild so-called winter. Check out those highs today. 50 for Bismarck, like I said, 49 in Dickinson, 48 up in Minot, 47 for Wilson. All around, just another pretty mild one here. Not a whole lot going on here. A little bit of cloud cover moving on through. When I come back, I get to talk about an identical day that we had today for tomorrow. And
you get to.
Maybe, yes, I get to.
And we get to listen.
Get rid of some more of that ice.
Exactly.
Thanks, Drew. Burley County authorities are asking for help in finding Travis Clark Jr. Clark is this month's on-the-run criminal. Clark pleaded guilty with burglary, felony, and possession of a firearm, violating a protection order, and stalking. He was given a suspended sentence in June under one condition: he complete the Teen Challenge program. However, authorities say he was picked up for DUI December 23rd and walked out of Teen Challenge the next day. Now he's wanted for violating his probation. Clark could face 25 years for breaking the rules. If you have any information on where Travis Clark is, please contact the Burley County Sheriff's Department at 222-6651.
A consultant to the Bismarck School District says that doing nothing is not an option. The public is weighing the pros and cons of 4 professionally recommended options to deal with the lack of space. They can build new, renovate old, and or shift grades around to accommodate an increase of around 1,300 more students in the next 5 years. Although the need for space is now, this conversation allows for the most cost-effective long-term results best for the students.
About schools in particular, they're a very particular animal that people are incredibly closely tied to. So they aren't able to say, well, let's talk about my neighborhood school and why it should stay open or why it should close. They can't do that clinically. DLR can do that. And then DLR can say, the consultant group can say, we don't weigh in on what your decision is. That's your decision, but here's the cold hard facts. Now you guys wrestle with it.
Parents, educators, and administrators could debate the options again earlier tonight, or did debate them earlier tonight. The cost of options ranges from $60 to $80 million. DLR Consulting Group is hoping to have a solid recommendation based on public input by the end of February.
A lot of people don't trust the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers now, but the Corps says they're working to restore that trust. Major General John Peabody is the Corps commander for our area and says the first step in rebuilding people's trust in the Corps is to get out on the ground to talk with flood victims. He says communication is the key to building a strong relationship with both the public and local government leaders. Peabody took over as commander of the Missouri Valley Division last month. He says seeing the impact and talking to those affected gives him an idea of what needs to be done in the future. Peabody says there are a lot of factors that go into any of the Corps' decisions, whether they have the authority from the federal government or the resources. He says helping the community understand that process will help with some of the frustration that comes with a disaster.
Well, we always want to have positive relationships and one of proactive and constructive collaboration. That's the only way the Corps can be successful at doing what we do, because really what we do are things that the public demands or asks for.
Oil activity in western North Dakota is sparking interest in the small central North Dakota town of Washburn. The number of people looking to relocate to the town has nearly doubled in the last year and a half. And as reporter Kate Keller explains, local realtors believe it could grow by at least 300 people in the next 5 years.
What has been lost in some western North Dakota communities due to oil is what some families are hoping to find in Washburn.
And we're also getting from the Williston, Minot, Dickinson area that are coming over just to get a little more quiet lifestyle again. They're getting away from the hubbub and the rush that they're in right now. They're not used to it. We want to go back to what North Dakota is, which is peace and quiet and tranquility.
Over the last year and a half, realtor Michael Blazek has been fielding inquiries from both in-state and out-of-state residents. He doesn't expect the interest to slow anytime soon.
They have a good school system. They have all the infrastructure there. The possibilities of a good growth system is there. And I think you look at it 3 years from today, you're going to see a whole different Washburn.
Similar inquiries have been made in towns like Hazen, Bula, and Center. Blazek says it's possible Washburn could grow to 2,000 people within the next 5 years.
Yeah, right now we have some space that we can still work on. We're going to need more acreage here shortly because we're getting short of lots.
This interest in housing has led to an increase in home prices. Blazek wouldn't be surprised if prices jumped another 10 to 15% over the next couple of years. In Washburn, Kate Keller, KX News.
Developers are also showing interest in Washburn. Blazek says there is talk of building a hotel near the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center.
Minot's also growing. The U.S. Census Bureau recorded an 11.8% population increase from 2000 to 2010. But how much is too much? In the next 5 years, Minot could have a population growth of 5,000 people. If that growth stays on pace, big change would have to be in store. And one engineer says physical constraints in the future are a reality.
There will be a point where when we're at the capacity of the infrastructure we have to stop.
Waste and wastewater capacity are in red alert for new construction. The city is looking into using community block grant money, economic development dollars, and a grant through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
For 684,000 North Dakotans, there are now 1 million vehicles. North Dakota Transportation Department Director Francis Ziegler says the agency registered more than 1 million vehicles last year, and that's an all-time high. The registration number includes all sorts of machines and toys, cars, trucks, boats, trailers, motorcycles, buses, snowmobiles, you name it. Ziegler says it's a reflection of western North Dakota's booming oil-producing region and the robust economy statewide. He says vehicle dealers across the state say they're doing good business.
More local news ahead on KX News at 10. A jury acquitted John Unruh of murder last week. Tonight, the man of the family he stabbed defends Randall Elbaugh and speaks out about the verdict.
Plus, one former farmer gets creative in reshaping metal.
Jared's in Know coming up next with your full forecast. We'll be right back.
All right, you can sit back, put your feet up, because that's what kind of forecast we have coming up. All right, start with Skycam here as we look at the state capitol. Looks like someone might be working late there. One of the lights are on. So far up in the Capitol anyway, but things are pretty quiet at the moment. And believe it or not, we got a mild night in store for us. 50 today for Bismarck after a low of only 29 degrees. Averages are 25 and 4, and 53 and 40 below are the records. Dickinson, 49 degrees. Averages are 28 and 7, and 60 and 47 below are the records. So another nice day. It's still 29 degrees out in Bismarck. Some calm air around the area. Fairly clear sky. Dickinson, we're at 34 with west winds at 7 miles per hour, and fairly clear sky off toward the west anyway. The wind kind of variable at the moment. Some calm air. Bismarck, Mobridge, and Williston. Otherwise, the wind really not too much of a factor here tonight. But temperatures still pretty mild. Some 20s out there to even some lower 30s off toward the west. And I think we'll only dip down into the 20s here throughout the night. What's going on across, well, our neck of the woods? Not a whole lot here. But we do have a couple disturbances just kind of creeping around the area. And they're actually both popping up, mainly cloud cover right now. So it's actually a little bit of a wave pattern here in the upper atmosphere, and a little bit of spin up, enough to pop up a little bit of cloud cover. Fairly high clouds anyway, kind of moving on through. We're just watching this area right now because this could move on throughout the night, and we might get a little bit of freezing drizzle, possibly to maybe some flurries later on the night. But if anything comes down, it's going to be very light. It's not really even showing up here on Precision Cast. It's barely hinting at it. Remember today? Well, tomorrow is going to be almost identical. So fairly sunny sky and nice and warm again. And Thursday, really not too bad. We are going to have this black line here. This is called an inverted trough. It's going to swing on through. We might pop up a little bit of snow, maybe a little bit of a mix throughout Thursday night into early Friday. But now models are tending to push that a little bit farther toward the south. So we might not even see that. Otherwise, high pressure looks like it's going to move on in toward the weekend, bringing fairly quiet few days. Tonight, around 22, might have a little bit of that freezing drizzle, or frizzle, rather, some flurries maybe, but if we see anything, it's going to be very light. But like I said, if we even see anything. Tomorrow, around 48, so I pretty much could have said, remember today, that's what it's going to be like tomorrow. And Dickinson, 23 degrees tonight, might have a little bit of that frizzle, and then maybe some flurries. Tomorrow, around 48, mostly sunny and mild. It's just a very quiet pattern, that's for sure. So we're looking at some overnight lows, probably dropping down in the 20s, so we will be below freezing for some of us. And then for Wednesday, well, it's going to be almost identical. Upper 40s to near 50 degrees. And then Thursday, I still think we got a shot at 40 without the snow on the ground. It's so much easier to warm up for us. So staying a little bit warmer here, maybe some upper 30s up toward the north. But either way, still well above average coming up here. So tomorrow, very pleasant. Some upper 40s to begin February. Otherwise, a slight chance for maybe some light snow, maybe some mix Thursday night into Friday. Of course, we have to see the guy shaking his arms on Thursday to see if he sees a shadow. Otherwise, the weekend and into Monday and Tuesday, believe it or not, look pretty quiet. We're going to be looking at some 30s coming up here. And like I said, probably just put my feet up here and just kind of kick back.
So what's the difference from last month? Right?
When we come back, the family of Randall Elba tells all about who he was, his future, and their feelings about last week's verdict.
Skycam, brought to you by Lang Gang Home Center. Windows, doors, siding, and roofing.
Are you watching in high definition? Our local news is in HD right now on KX News.
It's a family that's not only disappointed in last week's verdict, they're angry.
Randy died after being stabbed by John Unruh in April of 2011. A jury acquitted Unruh on all charges last Thursday.
Danelle Presky has this exclusive interview with Randy's mom and sisters.
The night I got the call is the night I lost it all.
The pain of losing a brother poured out on paper.
How could he just stand by and as his friend watch him die? I miss him. I was really close with him, and I just think he got cheated out of life.
Tammy Schock wrote the poem after her brother Randy Alba's death. But after last week's verdict, a new ending may be in the works.
There wasn't even a doubt in my mind. I don't think any of our minds that he'd get something.
Randy's family now shares a new pain.
Right now we have absolutely no justice. Nothing for my brother. John Unruh was on trial for Randall Albaugh's death. He died an hour after being stabbed. Jurors found Unruh not guilty on all charges.
I feel like we've all been cheated, my brother included.
Randy's sisters and mother share some harsh words about the verdict and question how the 12 jurors reached the decision.
I think that given a little bit more time and review of the evidence and the statements, that I think the jury made a mistake, bottom line.
How Randy's family knew him is nothing like what jurors heard.
Randy had struggles with drugs and alcohol, and I think that he was definitely attacked during the trial for it.
They're torturing him and he can't defend himself.
His sisters say shortly after being busted for drugs, just a few months before the stabbing, Randy cleaned up, quit using.
I know that it was very indecent what Randall was doing, and he on the outside maybe is blemished, but his heart was of gold.
He was bigger than life.
He was just a memory maker.
He loved the outdoors. He loved his dogs. Very outgoing. He had a great zest for life.
Randy was 23 and a father-to-be.
His daughter is his legacy. I mean, she looks like him. You can already see his personality coming out in her. I hope that she will be able to know who her dad really was, and that he was so excited to be a dad.
Another family member who will live with what happened that night. In Bismarck, Danelle Presky, KX News.
Randy's family says that he planned to marry his longtime girlfriend, his daughter, 6 months old, today.
Keep it here. Coming up in sports, the first and third ranked teams in Class A girls basketball go head-to-head tonight, and it went extra minutes. Keep it here. Tia's in next with sports.
Century and Mandan have set themselves apart at the top of the West Region girls basketball standings. The Patriots are undefeated, while the Braves have just one loss. That one loss came against none other than Century. The first time around, Century won by 11 in their own gym. This time, they have to face the hostile Braves on their own turf. The Patriots scored the first 7 points of the game. Kelsey Schatz hits the 3, giving CHS a 9-point lead in the first half. The Braves have battled all the way back. Courtney Getz drives, dishes to Keela Burt. Burt's 3 puts Mandan up 25-21. Century would go on to run at the end of the half. Hannah Larson hits the layup. CHS up 2 at the half. Larson with 11 in the second. Mandan would get defensive. Mackenzie Schmidt with a steal. She finds Getz under the hoop. Getz ties the game at 47. She finished with 15. Later in the second, Mick Longton drives. She dishes to Michaela Howlingwolf for 3 of her 13 points. Braves up by 3. Century would have an answer, though. A.J. Jacobs hits the 3, giving Century a 1-point lead. Jacobs finishes with 16. McLongton, she had 18 in the game, none bigger than this. A free throw to send it into overtime. In OT, though, it was all Century. Kelsey Teaglott banks it home. The Patriots outscored the Braves 9-4 in the overtime to get the big WDA win. 66-61 the final in overtime. Bismarck High has had to face some key injuries this season to returners, but the Demons have overcome that to stay the best team in the West. Tonight they travel to Minot, who sits in a tie for second in the conference, but no matter the outcome, BHS will remain in the #1 spot in the standings, although it would be by just a measly half game. The Demons are hoping to show why they should remain the top dogs. Big crowd at the MSU Dome first half. Bismarck's Devin Sherrato for 3 here. He finished with 17. Magicians nice passing. Brandon Van Dusen finds Mitchell Quist underneath. Great back to forth, though, here. Taylor Schaefer for 3 for the Demons. Magicians Coulter Hustad, nice move. And this ties the game up with the low down points. Here comes Bismarck again. Dexter Werner, he hits the turnaround jumper for 2 of his 18 points. Minot's Kyle Girding gets the bucket down low, +1. He had 18. Under 10 minutes to play in the half. Bismarck's Tyler Unruh hits a 3. Bismarck led at the half, and they go on to win by 2 in a close game up in Minot. Back to girls basketball. Shiloh hosting New Salem, a big district Class B girls game. This for the lead in the standings. Third quarter, Shiloh trails at 8 at the half. Kelly Schindler with the big buckets for the Skyhawks. But New Salem played great defense. It translated to points at the other end, too. Emily Wolf underneath. 12-point New Salem lead after that bucket. More Holsteins. This time it's Tamara Klingenstein. She gets the jumper on the baseline. She's going to bank it in. Those 2 points were very big. New Salem wins it 71-57 over Shiloh. Other girls scores, Washburn wallops Max. Underwood over Center Stanton, Linton HMB 55, Kidder County 44, Napoleon Downs South Border, Grant County dominates Solon 93-25. Class B boys scores Washburn by 11 over Max, Bula big over Glenelg and Hebron, Dickinson Trinity beats Richardson Taylor by 31. Wilton Wing falls to Turtle Lake Mercer 83-48. And in Class A wrestling, St. Mary's goes on to win over Beulah Hazen, but they fall to Hettinger, so they wrestle 2 Class B schools tonight in wrestling.
So unlike Jared, who has his feet up, you guys are doing some work tonight.
It was pretty busy and actually some pretty close, some pretty good games.
We'll see if we can get Jared to help you guys out.
Maybe he'll help. We'll
And
see.
then inside the den tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
All right, thanks to you. We'll be right back with the last look at the forecast. Want to recap our top story tonight, a shooting in Bula. One person is dead, according to authorities, and another is in serious condition.
It happened about 8:15 tonight. A shooting was reported in an apartment building in Bula. This was east of the Dairy Queen. Police were looking for a male suspect who fled on scene on foot, but another man is in custody. Now, we have heard that they got that second man who fled on foot, but that has not been confirmed. So I repeat, authorities have not confirmed that yet. Now, according to authorities, one person is dead, another is in serious condition. We do have a reporter on scene, so she's giving updates throughout this news time.
Finally tonight, the beauty of art is in the eye of the beholder, and in this case, it comes in all shapes and forms.
Egg reporter Sarah Gustin takes you into the shop of one man who's turning pieces of metal into wall hangings.
A weld here and a grind there turns useless scrap metal into pieces of art.
Basically, it's like putting a puzzle together. You cut your pieces out and put them all back together and go from there.
Blaine Tishmack is a retired farmer. About 10 years ago, he started putting his old wire, scrap metal, and cultivator pieces to work, turning pieces of metal into pieces of art.
It's something I've done most of my life as well. I've just kept on going with it. Started getting a little more artistic, I think. I hope it looks that way anyway.
This shop now holds nearly 100 of Tishmack's creations, and no two pieces are the same.
Normally, that's how I got to start off a picture and go make a design off of that.
Windmills, tractors, bobcats, or even something a little more unique, Tishmack says he enjoys the challenge.
It's kind of nice to put them on the wall and then see what you did wrong on them, so hopefully next time you can do a better one.
A desire that keeps many of us coming back for more. North of Mandan for KX News, I'm Sarah Gustin.
That's some talent. Tishmack says a tractor can take him anywhere from like 10 hours to finish.
Wow, that's some nice looking art.
Coming up tomorrow, we're going to go inside the den at 6 o'clock because the Bobcats play tomorrow night between the 6 and the 10. Yep.
All right.
And it's probably a good thing they're not playing outside because I'm sure a lot of that ice is melting everywhere. And guess what? Tomorrow is going to be almost identical to today. And then it looks like on Groundhog's Day, well, we're going to have a shot around 40 degrees. A slight chance for maybe some light precipitation Thursday night into early Friday. But that is just a slight chance. Otherwise, things look pretty quiet for the whole extended.
Okay, thank you very much. And
Have
thanks
a great
for
night.
watching.